Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome to Tuesday's very somber edition of the dceu Daily. For me, this is an extremely hard video to do, a sad video to do. I had to think very carefully about doing this video. Yesterday, I spoke to a couple of people that I would call trusted sources, and they have officially told me that Henry Cavill will no longer play Superman again. I would never do a video like this because Henry's been cast as Sherlock Holmes or because the marketing for The Witcher has started. I'm not the kind of person who does videos by, adding 2 and 2 and getting 600. I work on facts. I work on reality. Sometimes I post videos about my theories, about rumours, and I make it clear that's what I'm doing. Today is very sad for me because I now know that Henry Cavill will never play Superman again. This, of course, makes the release of the Snyder Cut even more important. That will be the last time we see this wonderful man, this great actor, embody my favourite superhero ever again. We go back over a year ago when the Hollywood Reporter had the article and said that Henry was out as Superman. That article was true. Warner Bros. Would just say that they've always had a great relationship with Henry Cavill. That's all they said. Now, his agent said that the cape was still in his closet. I believe that was a lie even back then. Maybe they were still negotiating. I want to make something so clear to you. Henry Cavill has never wanted more money to continue to play Superman. We all remember him while he was marketing Mission Impossible Fallout, his ideas. He was even talking about trying to bring on board the Mission Impossible director. He had his own ideas. He knows the comics. He studied the comics as soon as he got the role. Henry Cavill embodied what Superman should be and how Zack Snyder saw Superman. When I look at Henry Cavill, he is Superman. The hair, the eyes, the gentleness within his persona. He was a great Superman. And I think he will live in the memory for a very long time. But how did we get here? How did we get to this ridiculous situation where Henry Cavill will no longer be Superman again? We go back to Justice League. We go back to what they did to him with the upper lip. Would you want to play a character again if that happened to you? But the truth of the matter is, Henry Cavill is no longer playing Superman out of choice. This is not his decision. These are decisions going on within the studio. They've been negotiating for a very long time. Now, I can tell you this exclusively, that Henry Cavill wanted a direct sequel to Man of Steel. This is what the negotiations were all about. I've told you this before. He wanted to continue the themes of Man of Steel. But unfortunately, Warner Bros. Didn't want to do that. They wanted to go a different direction. There's always been rumours about Warner Bros. Wanting to rest Superman. And I've told you my opinion on that. How can you rest the greatest superhero of all time? How can you have the greatest superhero, the greatest character on your books, and not want to make films? Forget the films. When was the last time we saw a proper Superman TV show with Superman in it? Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. He's cameoed in the Supergirl TV show. I think it's been okay at times, but then again, I think they've, threw the character under the bus just to say how great Supergirl is and how bad Superman is and how men suck. But I don't want to go into that. Superman is an amazing character. Now, I believe that Zack's choice in Henry was perfect. Now, originally, apparently, he wanted to choose the guy who played Deathstroke in the post-credit scene of Justice League, right? Now, I just never saw that guy as Superman. I mean, he's got the strongman physique and all that, But Henry Cavill has that. Henry Cavill worked so hard to get the body that Zack wanted him to. So he looks strong like Superman. That moment in Man of Steel when he's trying to save the people off the oil tanker, and he's holding it up, and he's struggling a bit. There's a realism to that. He's Superman, but he doesn't know his full strength. He doesn't know what he is at that point. But when I think about Henry Cavill as Superman, I think perfection. The moment he snaps Zod's neck and he's going, no! And you see the pain in his eyes. It's beautiful. Or when he sees his father swept away by the tornado, the emotion in his eye. Henry Cavill gave Superman majesty, because I think Superman is a majestic character. He's a character you look up to and you say, wow, he's there, but he's untouchable. That's who Superman is to me. And he played Superman. He played Superman as a god, but as a flawed god. A lot of people criticise Man of Steel for Superman not caring when the gas station explodes. And that's one of my favourite sequences of Man of Steel. You think you can threaten my mother? I love that. I'm like this. I'm loving it. Go on, Supes. Deal with that son of a bitch. But some people don't like that. The moment when he's going up against the world engine and he screams, finally, he pushes himself to destroy it. It's an almighty moment. It is a great performance. You congratulate Henry and, of course, Zack for getting that out of Henry. It's what I love, the work actors and directors do together to get that. A lot of people will tell you that Henry Cavill isn't a good Superman, but he will go down as a great Superman. He's not Christopher Reeve. He was never meant to be Christopher Reeve. That's the difference between Zack Snyder's vision and Bryan Singer's vision. Bryan Singer was trying to bring back Christopher Reeve's Superman. I've seen Christopher Reeve's Superman. I love Christopher Reeve's Superman. But if I ever want to watch that again, I can put the 4K on, can't I? Yeah? But this Superman was very different. A Superman that was going to take us to an injustice story. And Henry Cavill embodied that so beautifully. I sit in front of you today with a heavy heart, thinking that the only way we can ever see Henry as Superman again is if we see the release of the Snyder Cut. This should actually kind of embody all of you, propel all of you to fight for the release of the Snyder Cut even harder. When I think about Henry's career now, he's going to play The Witcher, he's going to play Sherlock Holmes. I'm happy that he's getting work. It saddens me that that work is nothing to do with Superman. It saddens me when he puts up a post on Instagram and it's not his fault and he's not talking about Superman anymore. He's tried now and again, right, when he was standing next to the kind of the statue, the waxwork and all that. It's beautiful. He tries whenever he can. But I'm also interested now when he does the presser for The Witcher and they constantly ask him about Superman. What's he going to say? If we're honest, out of all the Justice League cast members, his support for Zack Snyder has been the lowest. But that's because he's playing the political game. He wants a career in the industry. He wants to work with Warner Brothers again. He has to be careful. You see, Jason Momoa is in this great position where he was on Game of Thrones. Aquaman really worked out well. You know, he's with James Wan. He can say whatever he wants, but Henry can't. Henry's career is more of a struggle. Do you know where Henry was when they first announced him as Superman? He was in a local pub in an English village, sipping some beer with his girlfriend, celebrating with his friends. How many actors have you ever heard of being in that situation? He was announced that he was playing the most important role of anyone's career. And I remember the announcement. I didn't know who Henry Cavill was. I saw this guy with dark hair, fresh face. I thought, all right, you'll do. I've never seen you in anything before. But then I saw the first trailer with the Gladiator music over it, right? With Hans Zimmer's Gladiator music over it. And I was like, fuck me. They're doing Superman as a god. As a god. When he shuts his eyes and he kneels on the floor and the ground shakes and he's about to be Superman. and he flies. But it's the majesty of it. It's the majesty of that scene. Please don't tell me that Henry Cavill is a bad Superman. You know nothing about nothing. You don't understand. Go back and masturbate about Professor Hulk. Up yours. This, you know what? That isn't kind of in the Superman spirit, is it? I try my best. I try my best to redefine my behaviour, but sometimes I can't. Because Superman means everything to me. Superman has raised me up in the lowest points of my life, and Henry has been part of that. The man wants to play Superman and he's not allowed to. It isn't fair. It isn't fair. And all because someone at a big studio made bad decisions, and we saw Zack Snyder lose his job in one of the most terrible moments of his life. During the time he was trying to cope with his own daughter's suicide. And instead of apologising to him, instead of saying, you know what, do your cut, mate, do your cut. That's the least we owe you. We won't even get that. I have a great affiliation with Warner Brothers. I love Warner Brothers. I think in the fight against Disney, they're doing great stuff. They're making real proper films. The Joker movie is a credit to them and their history. It's going to go down as one of the great movies. It's definitely an Oscar contender. When you think of a comic book character movie, a comic book movie going to the Venice Film Festival, for me, that's I'm very proud and emotional about that. But in terms of Henry as Superman, we know, don't we? Us, the fans who love him, who have supported him. We supported him because he gave us a great version of the character. But you see, we don't have a say. We don't have a say. We've just got to take it. We've got to sit here and wait until we get another actor playing Superman. But there's something extremely special about Henry Cavill as Superman. As I say, the majesty, the godlike qualities he gives him. Especially in Man of Steel. I love him in BVS, but in Man of Steel, it's all about Henry, isn't it? Nobody else. So, I finished this video just kind of reconfirming what I told you on the top. Henry Cavill will no longer play Superman. That's not your choice. That's not my choice. That's somebody else's choice. And we have to just take it. But do we? We fought so hard to release the Snyder Cut. Why can't we fight even harder to fight against this decision that Henry Cavill can play Superman again? How about that? How about we hashtag Henry Cavill is my Superman? Give it a try. Now, before I go, I do a lot of different videos about a lot of different things. Now, absolutely, my dceu daily videos get most of the views. So I want to ask you a favour, a big favour actually, because it's your time and you probably don't want to waste your time watching videos of me. Please support my channel. Please watch my other videos, even if you're not interested. Please like them. Please share them. I want this channel to reach out to people because ultimately I'm just an ordinary individual. I believe everyone with someone to say should have a YouTube channel. And for any of you who set up your own YouTube channel, I make you one promise. I will support it, I will subscribe to it, and I will like it. So please, give me the support I'd absolutely give you. And I'll see you in the next video. I mean, come on. How many blokes have got the balls to dance in their boxers? Hey, that deserves a like, a share, a subscribe. Doesn't it? Imagine the prats who are making fun of me, saying, look at him, look at his body, look at this idiot, what he's doing. I'm doing it so other people who have got flawed appearances and personalities like me can find the confidence that I found, because I haven't naturally got this. I got it slowly through life. I was bullied, I looked very different when I was a young man, I barely spoke to people. But I've always wanted people to see me and people to hear me. So thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your subscriptions. It's been brilliant. And I promise you, I'm going nowhere. This channel will stay like this. If I reach 1,000 subscribers, then I'll absolutely consider getting editing software, doing things a lot more professionally, and seeing what else we can do and where we can take the channel. So thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you next time.